Welcome to the NCDWI Guide podcast, where defenders of the Constitution assemble to prepare for courtroom battle and firm owners gather to develop marketing strategies that will revolutionize the practice of criminal defense. Here's your host, the NCDWI guy, Jake Minnick.
Hello, fellow freedom fighters, and welcome to episode 168 of the NCDWI Guy podcast. We have a doozy of an episode today. We've got groundbreaking bombshell technology that is coming down the pike that is absolutely going to impact any attorney that regularly handles DWI cases. Advanced technology that is effectively going to put breath testing or alcohol detection rather into every consumer vehicle that is purchased in the United States. This is really going to have a huge impact on our practice for those of us engaged in DWI and DUI defense. Big deal to figure out kind of what led to the development of this technology, the legislation that stands behind it, and what we can expect in terms of some of the technology coming down the pike. So very excited to share this. Again, this is just going to have a huge impact on our practicing for those of us in the realm of DWI. Couple of quick announcements before we get to that. First of all, if you're listening to this podcast, likely you are a North Carolina criminal defense lawyer. That's what this podcast is designed for. That's the person that this podcast is designed for, is the North Carolina criminal defense lawyer. And for anybody that is practicing criminal defense in North Carolina, questions that are often going through a criminal practitioner's mind when it comes to their law practice, their business, are include these kind of questions. How can I get more potential clients to call me? Once I get them to call me, how can I get more of the people that call to hire me? If they hire me, how can I respond more efficiently and effectively to those clients, to my clients? How can I help them along the path better and spend less time giving better service? In general, how can I get more time? Once somebody's hired me and paid me for services, how can I keep more of the fees that I am charging? How can I put more of the dollars that are coming into the firm into my personal pocket, into my personal bank account? How can I find and retain good help at my office? How can I focus my time more on the things that inspire me and give passion to me than on the things that seem to drain my time and energy? These are questions that we are constantly all asking as criminal practitioners. And if you are asking these questions, which you should be, I would expect that anybody that's in these criminal defense shoes are asking these questions, wouldn't it be nice if there was a group of lawyers that were focused on getting these questions answered? Wouldn't it be nice if there was an event that was designed for you to help answer these questions? And I am here to tell you that the Freedom Fighters Summit in October 19th and 20th in Asheville, is designed for you. It's designed for the North Carolina defense attorney. This conference is designed specifically for North Carolina lawyers that practice in the area of criminal defense, that want to take their practices to the next level, that want to have a healthier practice, that want to have a more fulfilled life. So it is for you that is listening. And I implore you not to miss out on this event. the speakers that we have lined up for this conference, for this summit, are really an incredible lineup of speakers. Go check it out, minniclaw.com/summit. Go check out the speakers. We've got, I think, 3 or 4 left to release. But if you look on there, you're going to see an amazing lineup of speakers. And the list of topics that these incredible lawyers and people outside of the legal industry are going to cover are going to change your practice, but more importantly, change your life. Outside of the incredible education that's coming through these speakers at the summit, we are really building a network of like-minded lawyers through this event that is going to last beyond the event. We are in the process of building a kind of listserv, if you want to call it that, Q&A board for lawyers and the staff of the lawyers that attend this event to bounce ideas off of one another related to, client retention, marketing, company culture. How can you improve the client experience? How can you better serve your clients? We're going to really be building a long-term network, and the attorneys that have signed up for this event could not be more excited about the group that is going to be in Asheville in October. So I implore you not to miss out on this incredible networking opportunity, this incredible learning opportunity. Asheville is beautiful in the fall, and the hotel that we have this set at in Asheville in Biltmore Park is a gorgeous venue. The hotel is going to book up quickly. We have a room block that is going to go fast, and it's going to be difficult to fully engage in the event if you don't get signed up and get a hotel room booked. Our entire team at the office is going to be attending the event, including our staff. We've got everybody's going to be there on site. So I really believe in this opportunity, fully committed to making this something that lasts long beyond October, and is a way for us to really improve our lives as criminal defense lawyers. So I urge you very, very deeply to attend this event and to get on board soon so that you can get a room. The rooms in Asheville area go through the roof and book up very quickly. I think we've got an incredible room rate right now. If you sign up, so the information for doing that is on the Freedom Fighters Summit website, which again, minniclaw.com/summit. If you're listening to this and you have any desire to improve your life, to improve your practice, do not wait. Pause the episode, go sign up. I would love to have you with the amazing group of lawyers and speakers that we have scheduled for October. So go make that happen. Take the action, take the initiative, get signed up. It is going to be a life-changing experience, and I don't want anybody to miss out on this. So please, please, please take initiative. A second item, we have a job opportunity here at our office. We are looking for an attorney in our Jacksonville office. If you have any interest in that, please contact me. I would love to talk to you about what that office looks like. Gint Krilikis, who is one of the equity partners here at Minnick Law, has developed that Jacksonville office. He primarily works in the Wilmington office, but has developed that Jacksonville office over the last 5+ years into an incredible office, and we really need at this point somebody to take that over. It's getting to be a heavy load that Ginn has had to carry in terms of continuing to handle cases in Onslow County, where Jacksonville, North Carolina is located. So if you have any interest in joining the firm, I'd love to talk to you about our team, our culture, what that specific position looks like. So please feel free to reach out and contact me. I would be more than happy to discuss what that position looks like with anybody that is interested. All right. So diving into the subject of the day, which is groundbreaking. I mean, this is huge. If you think about the impact that this could have on our practices, what if clients could not start their car if they have an alcohol concentration above the legal limit? What would a world like that look like? Well, it'd be very different in terms of our practices for those of us that handle DWI defense than the world that we are living in now. So there is technology that is being developed, has been developed over the last 5+ years, that will be revolutionizing I'm trying to think of the right word here, revolutionizing the way that vehicles are manufactured in the United States. The process for this really has kind of become materialized through legislation that was passed in November of 2021. So in November of 2021, President Biden signed into law the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. And in that act, there is a section, section 24220, for anybody interested in looking that up, on advanced impaired driving technology. In that part of the findings that Congress looked at were that alcohol impaired driving fatalities represent approximately 1/3 of all highway fatalities in the United States each year. In 2019, there were 10,142 alcohol impaired driving fatalities in the United States involving drivers with a blood alcohol concentration of 0.08 or higher. And 68% of the crashes that resulted in those fatalities involved a driver with a BAC level of 0.15 or higher. Again, this act goes on to say in its kind of preliminary findings, the estimated economic cost for alcohol impaired driving in 2010 was $44 billion. $44 billion. According to the according to the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, advanced drunk and impaired driving prevention technology can prevent more than 9,400 alcohol impaired driving fatalities annually. Can eliminate nearly 10,000 deaths, according to that report. And finally, to ensure the prevention of alcohol impaired driving fatalities, advanced drunk and impaired driving prevention technology must be standard equipment in all new passenger motor vehicles. I'm going to read that again. To ensure the prevention of alcohol impaired driving fatalities, advanced drunk and impaired driving prevention technology must be standard equipment in all new passenger motor vehicles. So again, this was signed into law November of 2021. Under its current kind of passage, there was a technical working group on the advanced impaired driving prevention technology that was set up to implement this. And that technical working group recommends to NHTSA that there be compliance deadlines and rulemaking and new safety standards in effect by 2024, and would require, and this is kind of the big bombshell news, automakers would be required to build the technology into all new vehicles beginning in 2026 and 2027. So we are looking at 3 to 4 years that this technology would be required to be built into all new vehicles. If you want to get a sense of what this technology looks like, go on to YouTube and look up driver alcohol detection system for safety, the acronym DADS, DADSS. Look up DADS research program on YouTube, and you will find a whole host of very interesting and helpful videos talking about this technology and where it stands. The DADS program is a collaborative research effort to invent, test, and commercialize and ultimately deploy new alcohol detection technologies for widespread use in commercial vehicles. The program brings together the Automotive Coalition for Traffic Safety, ACTS, which represents the world's leading automakers, and the U.S. Department of Transportation's National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, in one of the most important government and private sector partnerships in transportation history. That is from the DADS research program website. There is really an incredible amount of information out there on this. So, where does this stem from? Well, obviously, based on those statistics that I just read, you can see what the kind of fatality and monetary reasons are for this system, for this legislation that was passed requiring this information. We're going to get in just a minute into the actual technology itself. But ultimately, at the end of the day, safety is going to win out. So if you think that this is, it's required by law. So it's at this point, even if the law changed, it was amended, and that they say, okay, well, we're not ready to roll this out. Let's push the envelope 2 or 3 years down the road, because it's been legislation that has now been passed and being very hardly pushed for the last 2 years. Every automaker that is selling cars in America is working on this technology, because you don't want to get left behind and lose out on being able to sell vehicles for lack of compliance. So even if this does get pushed back, there is a ton of research and development that is going on, and we're going to get into some of this here in just a minute, but it's coming down the pike. I talked about this recently at the North Carolina Advocates for Justice convention in Charlotte a couple weeks back. And before I kind of dove into this, I asked the room, and I would say there was probably about 30 to 40 people in the room during my presentation. And I asked everybody in the room, let's go back. Let's go back to the year 2008. Let's go back 15 years. I want you to think if you were in school at that time, if you were working, where what was your job? Were you married? How many kids did you have? Where were you living? In what city? And finally, what vehicle were you driving in 2008? Go back into that moment, 2008. Think about what your life looked like. Think about that car that you were driving. And then I asked the room, okay, now that you've got that vehicle in your head, think about the technology that you had in your vehicle. And I asked everybody to raise their hand. 15 years ago in 2008, who had Bluetooth technology in their car? Nobody's hands went up. I said, who has Bluetooth technology in their vehicle today? Everybody's hand went up. I asked 15 years ago, who had a navigation screen in their vehicle? I think there was like 2 hands that went up. Somebody kind of said, hey, does this particular navigation system count? And I didn't even know what it was. So I said, I don't even know what that is. But there was probably 2 or 3 hands out of the 30 to 40 people that went up. I said, how many people have a navigation screen in their car today? Nearly every hand went up. I said, in 2008, who had lane departure warnings on their car, forward collision warnings, or blind spot warning technology in their vehicle? 0 hands went up. said, who has this on their vehicle today? Probably half to 2/3 of the hands in the room went up in response to that question. And now what is that designed to do? Or what does that kind of like, very simple experiment tell us, very simple survey tell us? Safety is a huge concern in the technological development of car manufacturers. So even if it wasn't mandated by Congress, which advanced impaired driving prevention technology is, there would still be a incentive to make vehicles safer. Why? Because people want to generally be safe when they drive. Certainly want their children and their spouses to be safe when they drive, when they're looking at vehicles for purchase. So the safety measures are just incrementally getting better with each year as technology changes the way that cars are manufactured. So what does this advanced alcohol detection prevention technology look like? Well, here is some of the information from the DAD's website, and this may be somewhat outdated. So again, some of this may be even further development than what I pulled off of the DAD's website. Hey, podcast listeners, I want to briefly interrupt today's episode to invite you to join me at the inaugural Freedom Fighter Summit in Asheville this October. This in-person only event is designed for growth-minded lawyers determined to take their criminal defense practice to the next level. Due to the size of the summit's venue, there are a limited number of seats available. Don't miss out on the incredible lineup of speakers and spectacular networking opportunity that this summit provides. For more details, visit www.miniclaw.com/summit. Enter the promo code NCDWI-GUY, all lowercase, all one word, at checkout for $150 off your summit ticket. Look forward to seeing you there. Now back to the show. So there have been two cutting-edge viable technologies created, a breath system and a touch system. Breath system and a touch system. So the breath system works similar to a breath test that's used for criminal purposes, although there's no tube to blow into like there would be with an ignition interlock device or at the jail on the Intox CCIR2 device. There's no tube to blow into. It's effectively exhaled breath that is captured in a sensor located on the steering wheel column and effectively requires very little breath output. So that's one of the systems that's being developed to determine BAC level. The other is a touch-based system, and that system uses effectively tissue spectroscopy to determine a person's BAC level. A lot of cars these days are now like touch start cars, where you put your finger onto a button to touch start. For this type of technology, basically, when you start your car, you put your finger on that column, and that touch-based system is detecting alcohol as it is secreted through the skin. So again, this is potentially outdated information, although probably not by much, but effectively the DAD's research program has evolved 5 new generations of the touch system and 6 generations of the breath system. At this point, they've reduced the size of the breath technology by 85% and the size of the touch technology by 89%. And I believe the goal is to continue to reduce the size. If you go to the DAD's research program YouTube page, one of the updates that came from last year shows the size of the breath system at about the size of a quarter. I mean, it is incredibly small. What they are trying to develop for this type of technology. They've already begun testing the technology with everyday people, on the road in specially built vehicles and in controlled dosed experiments in a hospital setting. To date, or at the point that this website was updated, they had collected 136,678 breath, blood, and touch samples from 338 individuals in 443 human subject and driving testing with the Harvard-affiliated McLean Hospital. The location, I believe, for this particular program is up near Boston. And so they're using, obviously, that Harvard McLean Hospital as one of the main testing research sites. They've integrated this technology with 40 vehicles with test sensors, driving 65,000 miles and clocking almost 10,000 sensor hours. And so far, they have filed or secured 63 global patents to ensure all intellectual property is open sourced. That's one of the biggest ones, the open source technology in terms of this coming down the pike. The goal of it being open sourced is to make it readily available so that everybody can, all automakers can implement this in their vehicles, as opposed to it being a competitive advantage of one automaker being able to offer this and another like still in the research and development. This is being freely shared technology so that it can be rolled out in every vehicle within the next few years. So this technology is coming down the pike. The breath testing device can be set at the legal limit. It can also be modified to a zero tolerance limit for, I think based on the wishes of the consumer. This technology has already been implemented in a number of commercial motor vehicles, tractor trailers, buses. This technology is already being used in certain commercial vehicles to eliminate for these commercial companies the risk of a driver of that vehicle driving impaired or driving above, a 0.04. If there's a CDL, you can see the financial incentive for these companies that have vehicles being driven on the roadway for eliminating alcohol from the system, because if there's a crash that is caused by an impaired driver of a commercial vehicle, that company is very likely on the line for a big amount, large settlement probably coming down the pike, or large judgment probably coming down the pike on that end. So it's already being rolled out in those commercial vehicles, and the technology is advancing leaps and bounds every month, based on not only the mandate that this be in place within the next couple of years, but also just based on safety development. So this is going to have a huge impact in our practices for those of us that handle DWI cases. Now, does that mean that every current vehicle that is in use today is immediately going to go off the market? And so, people, come 2026, 2027 will only be driving vehicles that have alcohol detection? No. Does it mean that every, vehicle that is equipped with this will 100% be able to prevent people that are impaired from driving on the roadways? Probably not. But it's going to impact our practices, and it's something to get up to speed on, educate yourself on, and start to think how you may shift your practice, or what impact this is going to have on your individual law firm as this technology is going into effect, as you start to see vehicles coming out that have this technology incorporated. It is not a matter of this technology coming, it's a matter of when. And the when is likely within the next 5 years. And so it's worth spending some time. Again, this is pretty groundbreaking, game-changing technology that is really going to have a huge impact on our practice areas, and something that is well worth spending some time thinking through, doing some research on, and trying to get ready to pivot in terms of the impact this is going to have on your individual criminal defense practice. Go out, do some research, look up the DADS website, look up on YouTube the DADS research program, watch several of the videos so you can become familiar with the technology that is being developed on this front, and prepare to do something different. Prepare, not something different in terms of practice area, but prepare to run your practice differently based on the major impact that this is going to have on impaired driving cases. Hope this information has been helpful to you, and I look forward to speaking with you again next time.